like this one.
The San Francisco Museum of Modern Art is bringing teenagers into a working dialogue with recognized members of the arts community. Professionals who cultivate their own personal view of the exchange between the world about us and the world within us. We visit 2 classes in progress. As a photographer and a poet, work with young people who are learning that the struggle of solving problems is part of the growing process.
I think it's fair to say that for the most part, teenagers have been the lost generations as far as museums are concerned. They are at an age when they are very ripe for developing further understandings which will remain with them for the rest of their lives. And we feel that that is the age when we should put much of our effort into our education programs. And I felt quite unhappy with our own record. And so we began our Art Insights program with the same idea that they wanted something that they could get into. They wanted something intense in their lives. And we felt that we could offer that intensity through art. The San Francisco Museum of Modern Art has been in this building since 1935. We have a long history of showing the works of the present century. We're essentially a museum of the 20th century. I've always felt to best understand modern art, one should do modern art, to make modern art. And so much of our programs deal with participation in one way or another.
I wanted to read you a couple of things that Weston said about photography and about portrait photography in particular. Success in photography is dependent on being able to grasp those supreme instants which pass with the ticking of a clock, never to be duplicated. So light, balance, expression must be seen, felt as it were, in a flash. From when the perfect spontaneous union is consummated, a human document, the very bones of life are bared. I think the way that, he's used the lighting...
Judy Dater is an internationally known photographer who has built her reputation on portraiture. She's an astounding, wonderful portraitist. And I thought she would be a perfect person to work with teenagers. I felt there was something in her personality and her demeanor that would work.
I mean, you can only do your own work, I think, up to a point, and I think it's good to, see what the real world is like. And I think teaching, a little bit of teaching, kind of keeps you on your toes and forces you to keep current and forces you to think about things. I like working with the teenagers, I really do. I think they're really, they're so fresh, and they seem to be inspired and have lots of energy and uninhibited and willing to try things, and they're just a lot of fun. The kids come here to do their photography and make their art, and I think in a school you kind of have to weed people out. You're supposed to look for the good ones and the bad ones, but in this situation there's none of that. It's like you can encourage everybody equally, and it doesn't matter if they're not all great. You can kind of give them all equal encouragement, and I like to teach that way. I want some self-analysis here, and I think you should each talk about what you tried to do a little bit and whether you think it was successful or not, and if you think there's anything you could do to make them better.
What is a picture? What is that? A steak? No, just...
The great thing is you get one of these and you get a
Love one.
slide picture of that.
I'm just always amazed at how sharp they are. And, you know, I think they're real aware of trying to do something with photography. You know, I think they take it real seriously. Oh, I love it. Let me see.
That was like, it was like one of the last pictures I was getting, really.
Oh, it's great. Very expressive.
That's it.
We felt that, no, they're not all going to become artists, but they become more full individuals, because I think art is good for you. To do it and to see it are very healthy activities. And being a museum, we have something that the schools do not have to offer students. We have the art, but we also have access to living artists.
Stone. Go inside a stone. That would be my way. Let somebody else become a dove or Nash.
Janet Wandry is this very, very talented young woman, a poet, and I could see this woman would be great with a teenager.
No one knows how to answer it. What we're going to do is take a look at some photographs by Edward Weston of objects. And then I'm going to invite you to write a poem where either you can take on the object's voice and speak in the voice of that object, or you can be sort of an explorer, going close to the object or into the object and coming back and telling us its secrets. I like working with teenagers because I think that they're very honest. I think that it's a time when people feel that they have a tremendous amount to say and a tremendous sort of vortex of emotions inside that need to be expressed. And poetry is certainly a good way to do that. Perhaps there is a moon shining from somewhere as though behind a hill, just enough light to make out the strange writings, the star charts on the inner walls. One really important part of poetry is digging down into yourself and thinking about what's important to you, what you feel strongly. And I really appreciate young adults' willingness to do that. That they're willing to do that digging down, that they're able to do it, and that's not easy to do. So I'm asking them to break their patterns and to try something different in the midst of a really stimulating environment. And I think they do a beautiful job. But you know, it is really up to you to decide.
I need the help. I mean.
Yeah, so what I'm suggesting is try like... I was interested in the way that Shannon was not so pleased with the end result, but she was willing to work on the poem and to share it with people and to try to, you know, do some editing and make it better. I think, okay, first of all, I guess you need this part because we need to know that another element is being added.
I mean,
Well, do you want to end with a feeling of the overwhelming brightness? Or do you want to end with the darkness? I see poetry as a process of discovery where in the middle of the poem, in the writing it down and coming up with the ideas and the editing and so forth, you're learning right there as you go along.
Catching only the afternoon shadows of a tree in agony. My large hat hides the contours of my forehead, where the lines have formed, now that the skin is looser on my bones.
Standing there for ages upon ages, standing on the mountainside, standing on rock, boulders, and stone, wishing it could walk, wishing it could run, wishing it could fly.
It looks like a quilt. Perfected lines flying across the landscape. Amazing that each one is unique, because from a distance they're all polka dots. There's only a hint of a fence, and the backdrop looks unreal, as though the tomatoes are dreaming it up. They wish they could be there, but can't.
When it is over, like a nightmare, ironically beautiful, she shines a silver lining. The sun beams through, he nourishes, creating sharp edges and points on his mountain to even out and beautify her gentle curves. But when she leaves, he is the final power to complete this production. He will shine, and the mountain will burn with his light. The trade-off has been made.
Good work. Well, okay.
As museum and community learn about each other, they discover more about themselves. Through the act of living, the discovery of oneself is made concurrently with the discovery of the world around us. A balance must be established between those two worlds, the one inside us and the one outside us. As a result of a constant reciprocal process, both these worlds come to form a single one.
On a l'impression que de l'extérieur, peut-être que c'est les médias qui sont